Hey everyone, it's Jackie from CCYDNE Hobbies. Our last video that we did was an unboxing of the new game, Bad People. And we had our usual gaming group get together, and we ran through it, had some pretty good fun with that. It took about 1 or 2 hours to be able to play a series of games, because since you only have to get 7 points to be able to win the game, you want to play it more often. We had 6 people playing. We had ages 20s all the way up to 60s, and everybody seemed to really like it. They liked being able to pick on each other. They liked being able to kind of twist the words around a little bit. They loved all the artwork for the voting cards and the character cards. I will say that the group was all males, so I'm pretty sure we would have a lot of different feelings and a lot of different answers if there had been some females in the group. But that night, we could only get guys to play. They liked the range of cards, all the different types of questions. They didn't play with the not safe for work one because the store was still open and we didn't want them saying things. And they could easily hide the pictures if minors came in, and but to someone saying something outrageous out loud, that would have been a little hard to do. So since the store was still open, we didn't play with that one. But they did enjoy the ones that just came in this basic box. It didn't take long for them to get the hang of it. A couple of read-throughs of the rules. One of the things they wanted to stress is that when you play this, be sure that the person who is the dictator votes for who their answer is going to be before they read the card. Because if you wait until everybody else does it, then other players can kind of guess who the dictator is going to vote for, and that's kind of cheating. So always be sure the dictator votes, then reads, then everyone else votes, and then you turn the cards over, and the dictator turns his card over last, and you figure out who gets the points. One of the downsides to this, though, was the fact that if the player doesn't have a lot of, let's say, worldly experience, quotation marks, bunny rabbit ears, if they're younger, if they've not been to college or had a lot of jobs or done military service or done other things, they weren't very rebellious in school, things like that. There's lots of different variables there, but if they had more limited knowledge of things on the cards and more limited knowledge or actual experience of things suggested on these cards, it made it harder for them to play. Some didn't understand it, or if it wasn't so much that they didn't understand it, but it was kind of hard for people to vote when you look at the table and you have two 20-year-olds sitting next to each other and two 60-year-olds sitting next to each other, and then the range in between, and you're going, well, this one sounds like something somebody would have done a long time ago, so now we know who we're going to vote for. And it kind of skews it a little bit more. The cards that allow the dictator to make up their own card or to fill in the blank, those are neat, but the bad thing is if you have someone who doesn't improv well, they're not going to like that. We had to pass over a lot of those because whoever was the dictator was like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't think of anything. I don't know what to say. This isn't going to be funny, and some people just are not comfortable doing that, and that's fine. So you can always take those cards out. You don't want to make anybody really uncomfortable. And we made sure that all of the guys promised that they were all going to be friends afterwards because, this one can get a little hairy when you're naming what somebody supposedly did. But yeah, that's one of the things too that, perhaps if someone doesn't improv well, they might not like that. But otherwise it was quick, it was easy. They probably could have played a few more games. I think they played 3, just to see who was going to win. Within that hour, almost 2-hour time period, plus the learning curve. But I think it's a pretty good game. I'm waiting until we have a time where we have more people, a more varied gender assortment around the table. And I think it'll be pretty good. So I'm going to give positive for this right now. And actually, what I want to do is I want to kind of go through some of the party games that we sell here at CCYDNE Hobbies, and kind of you can kind of see the evolution of the game, and then you can kind of determine what might be your favorite. So let me push this one out of the way, and we're going to start with the tried and true favorite of Cards Against Humanity, the party game for horrible people. So with Cards Against Humanity, it is also listed at, whoops, sorry, trying to focus. Not having a good job today. So anyway, it's for ages 17 and up. It takes 30 to 90 minutes, and you play 4 to 20 plus. So sorry if that's fuzzy. I've got my really old camera from 2008. That's why it's not high def. I got to get a new tripod so I can use my phone or something. So anyway, back to the game. So Cards Against Humanity. The new second edition is out. It has 600 cards in it. I don't remember the actual breakdown of how many black cards to how many white cards. But with Cards Against Humanity, one person is the card czar. They read the black card, and then everybody goes around the table and they look at the cards that they have in their hands. They have up to 10 white cards in their hands, and they pick which one they think is going to be the funniest answer, or is going to get the most reaction, or that they think the card czar themselves will personally like the most. And so they submit those, and then the card czar looks at them and shows everybody what they are. And then the card czar is the person who votes to say, this is the one that's the best. And then they give the black card to whomever won that, and the person at the end of the night with the most black cards wins. Again, it is one that if people don't have a lot of knowledge of certain things, or very expansive knowledge, or very expansive experiences, a lot of people who don't have those are gonna be a little confused. We've had players who don't understand what the cards mean at all. We've had that they don't know the definition of the words. They don't understand the context of the situation that's supposed to be imagined with a certain card or something, and so it makes it harder because they don't know what to do, and a lot of times you get them throwing out cards, and sometimes it's actually very hilarious when you put their answer with what the card said. But a lot of times they're just pitching cards out, and they're feeling bad because they're not winning anything because they don't know which cards to put out because they just don't understand them. And then with Cards Against Humanity, the end game is when you draw the haiku card. So there's one card, and it says make a haiku. And so people have to use 3 cards that are in their hands to make a haiku. Now, it doesn't have to actually be the 575 format. It can just be, 3 cards. You read them, it sounds funny. Hey, this is great. And the cards are votes. But the bad thing is, Cards Against Humanity, currently, at least in our store, we have 19 expansions for Cards Against Humanity. 20 if you count the bigger, blacker box and the little tiny box of card-based clue cards that come in that. So you're looking at 20 expansions. You put them all together. That's usually how we play it. And so we have all of them crammed in the bigger, blacker box. And it takes forever to find that haiku card. So unless you pull it out early so you can say, at this time we're playing the haiku card, you may not find it for hours and hours and hours. And if you get someone who's like, really, I have to play the haiku before I can leave, it'll take a long, long time. But that's if you play all of them. With the base game, it's not a big deal. But it's a lot of fun. But like I said, it's got, 20 different expansions to it. So there is a lot of variability. But one of the things that's nice about Cards Against Humanity is you don't really have to do a lot of thinking on the spot as far as, what am I going to say now? It's, I read this card. There's a blank, and I say blank. You have to fill in the blank. You've got 10 white cards in front of you. Pick something from those, and you're going to have an answer. And that's going to make it a lot easier. it's a nice game. I like it. We play it a lot. We play it late in the evenings on International Tabletop Day and on New Year's Eve. Always make sure all the kids are gone. So, it's nice. But then you can go from Cards Against Humanity into another game. And this one's from a Canadian publisher. This is, whoops, sorry for the glare. This is, let me move my camera. Personally Incorrect. Okay, thank you for your patience. Okay, so Personally Incorrect. Now, Personally Incorrect is pretty cool, and I'm going to flip it over. It's for ages 18 and up and 5 to 10 players. And so here's how this game works. There are 98 question cards in the box. And on each one, it will say insert name, and then it'll have the text of the card. And then what you do is you pick someone who's sitting at that table at that time. Okay? So instead of it being just generic person with Cards Against Humanity, or a generic scenario with Cards Against Humanity, you're actually picking someone. So like here on the box, insert name. So we'll say Bob wakes up every morning saying he will never mix blank and alcohol again. Okay, so now you have 291 answer cards. And those cards are what the players have in their hands. So, like it shows here on the box, people will vote for what they think is the best one. So it's you look through and you pick the one you like the best, and people submit Old Creepy Man, Meth Labs, Crack, Miniature Ponies, Feminists, okay? And so what happens is then everyone votes on what the best answer is. So it's the group deciding, not just one person. So you have answer cards still, like you do in Cards Against Humanity, but it's the group who decides which one is the funniest. And of course, people are going to campaign for the ones that they submit because they want to get the points. But a lot of times you'll get something, and we see this in Cards Against Humanity as well. You'll throw an answer out there and you'll say, yeah, this is awesome. And then somebody throws something even more outrageous or just plain funny out there, and then you're going, oh man, I threw away a card for that, But then everybody, has to wait and see what the card czar is going to say. And a lot of times the card czar knows who put what out there. They can kind of figure it out. This one, group decides. So that's a nice change to it. And it's one of those that it doesn't say that it's not for horrible people like Cards Against Humanity is. But on the box it says, we're not going to say you have to be morally inept or a terrible person to win Personally Incorrect, but it certainly helps. So this is a really neat little game. It's put out by Lion Rampant Imports, which is a Canadian-based distributor, and we have it here in the store. It has 2 expansions. There's more playability, a great way to have a quick little party game, make it a little more personal. So like I said, you actually target people who are there at the table by name. And again, best thing to do is everybody promise that you're all going to be friends by the time the thing is over, because you don't really want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it can get a little outrageous. And so then you leave Personally Incorrect and you come to Bad People. The nice thing is you have the questions and the answers are yours. So you choose which person at the table, not a generic topic like Cards Against Humanity. And it's obvious it's going to be somebody like Personally Incorrect. But Bad People, you just read the card and then everybody decides who they think would be the one to fit that. Sorry about the camera. Let me put that back. Sorry about that. So they decide who is the best to fit that description, or would be the person who would most likely do whatever it was on there. And then everybody turns their cards over and you see, who everyone picked. Of course, you want to try to match who the dictator picks. But there's also an option of the game where you can just do it by whoever the party votes for, the most person. So if, 8 out of 10 people say it's the guy with the anal beads cards. I mean, it was hysterical last night. They wouldn't call each other by name; they called each other by the pictures on the cards. But if that's the guy that more of the voting cards with that picture on it are thrown out, then that's the person who wins. So, or you can do it where all the people who guess that person wins. There's lots of variables, and that's one of the things I like about Bad People is it's got some really nice ways that you can kind of change it up, make it your own. Then it has its one expansion, which yes is the Not Safe for Work expansion. I don't know if there are any other expansions coming in the future, but we kind of hope that there will be. And I think this is actually going to be a nice little addition. I mean, there's other party games out there. There's Drunkology, Super Fight. That's one. Let me get you a picture of that. Oh, well, that's all about... Okay, that was awful. But anyway, Super Fight's a really cool one. It can be a little risque, like these 3 games, but not... tons of party games out there. These are strictly, for adults, because adults like to have a good time. I'm pretty sure if you added adult beverages, it could get a little wild. So, do that only at your own risk. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really good addition. So yeah, there's a quick view and comparison of the big card-based gotcha kind of games, party games. And so yeah, what do you think? Have you played all of these games? Have you tried anything like these? What's the best card combination you've ever gotten? Yeah, put those answers down in the comments. We'd really appreciate that. And if you have any other questions or any other comments, put those down in the comments too. We got lots of space down there, so just click those buttons and put them in there. And that's about it. So we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you again for watching. Sorry for the picture quality. Like I said, really old camera, so it's not high def, but bear with us. We'll be getting better. Here at the store, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you get notified every time we have a new video up, and be sure to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends so that more people will get to see these videos. And if you have any questions or are interested in purchasing any of these items, you can contact us through our Facebook page. The address is in the information about the video, and we want to thank you very much, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!